And hi again, everyone. So sorry about that. We lost the live stream. Murphy's Law. If something's going to happen, it's always going to happen when you're live streaming. So I do apologize for that. Completely lost the connection. So yeah, I hope that that you all can see and hear me now. So yeah, back to the tonight's or this week's question and answer session. And yes, we've got Susan here and Venus here. So sorry, guys. Were you here when all those glitches happened? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so guys, if you can just send me a heart or something like that, if you can hear me okay. I'm a bit worried now that we've just got the connection back on. So yeah, if you could just give me a heart or a like or something, just to let me know that you can hear me, that would be amazing. Okay, so I'm just waiting for David Demars to appear. And yes, I'll just go back to what I was originally talking about before we lost that. Yeah, we've got a like with a big smiley face there with lots and lots of hearts. So that's awesome. Thank you. It's always a bit scary when you lose the live stream. It's like, oh my goodness, how do I get that back on? You know, I'm not an electrician. I'm electronically challenged. Venus, you can hear me? Wonderful. Okay, so yeah, just waiting for David. Yes, very, very cold here in Brisbane. No heater tonight, so the heater's not working, so just having to battle through. Okay, here's David now, so I'll just let him in. Okay, there's David. Add. Just waiting, he should be here. And there he is. Hi, David. Can you? Hi. Did you see that first, the first try at it when we lost the live stream?
Yeah, I did. I tried to get on, but it didn't work
Oh,
out.
yeah. It's always a worry, isn't it? But yeah, it had to happen eventually. We've had a pretty good run of luck up till now. So thank you for joining us again, everyone. Very excited to have David Demars here co-hosting the show. David, as always, wealth of knowledge. He's from the States, from Las Vegas, and yeah, an expert in narcissistic abuse recovery. So here to answer all your questions as well as myself. So David, I'll leave you to, I just touched on it while I was waiting for you, but I'll leave it to you to introduce what we were going to talk about a little bit tonight.
Yeah, we decided to talk about hoovering, the Hoover, which means, trying to get, it's when the relationship's over and that abuser comes back into your life in some
Yeah,
way or fashion.
the
Yeah.
Hoover
And it's
maneuver.
important to talk about because most of us all deal with this because I say it all the time that when people ask me, is my ex going to come back? Is my ex going to Hoover? I just say yes, always, 100%.
Yeah,
It's a safe bet, but they usually do in some way.
yeah. They come back to state their claim, don't they? They put a lot of work into you guys, into grooming you. You know, you would have done enough research by now to know that, that love bombing, you were the one. You know, you were put on a pedestal. You know, they had to wipe the sweat off their brow to get you hooked in that relationship. So you ain't going anywhere. And that's what the Hoover maneuver is all about. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
So,
we're talking about disordered people that can't function in relationships, that can't relate with people very well. And, this is how they behave in relationships. This is one of the things they do.
yeah, yeah. So, why do you think that? Why would a narcissist come back, David, and hoover their victim, um, if if they've got someone else? It just doesn't make sense that you've got someone there, you're parading them in front of the person you've hurt so badly and you've let go, and so why would they come back?
Well, we're talking about unhealthy, sick people. Uh, we can't think like we can't expect them to think like we do. And typically, normal, healthy people, uh, you know, are either alone, single, or they are dating one person, you know, and that usually typically is enough for them, or they don't date that person. They move on to someone else. These people are, we all know they want attention seeking. They want it from wherever they can get it.
Yeah.
They're not exclusive. They're not, they will get and take this attention from a lot of different people. And we get confused by some of the people they date after us. It doesn't seem to make sense, but there's different reasons why they date the people they do, more than
Yeah.
just what we think as like connecting and relating and stuff like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I guess it's kind of hard to fathom, that people who are, non-disordered, like you guys, and like David and I, people who don't have a personality disorder. It's hard to fathom that someone could just shamelessly come back and try and re-enter your life like nothing has happened, or whatever the strategy they use to try and hoover you back. It's hard to fathom that they've got a skin, that thick, that after destroying you, after emotionally crippling you, they think they have a chance. And I guess the flip side of that is they often do. They often succeed. And that's why, we're doing this tonight, isn't it? Is to try and let you know what goes on with the hoovering and why they do it and why you fall for it.
Yeah. I think a major narcissistic reason that people do that is, you know, we get confused, don't get confused with like guilt and remorse and stuff like this, shame and things like this. Guilt and shame is a good one. Uh, if you take someone who abuses people and doesn't have any remorse over it, doesn't feel bad about it, but they may feel ashamed, don't want to be a bad person. A lot of these abusive people are very shame-ridden people, shame-based. So anything that, that's why they can be kind of sensitive. So you tell them they're a bad person in any way, they'll freak out. They may not feel bad that they hurt you, but they don't want anybody else to know. They don't want anyone else to think they're a bad person. That touches too close to their own shame. Um, so if they're aware they abused you, and one thing that they seek is validation from other people quite often. So if I abused you and I go away, I may want to come back at some point to you and validate myself that I'm an okay person. So one
Yeah,
way to do that is, you didn't bring up anything bad I did to you. So maybe I wait 6 months, you feel better, you've kind of dusted yourself off. By the time I come back and call you and shock you, surprise you, you aren't going to bring up all these bad things I did to you. Typically we don't. We should, but we don't. And
yeah,
that's validating, very validating to them. Okay,
yeah.
I'm not the bad person. I'm okay. They're okay. I'm okay. That's fine. That's one reason that they do that. It's really common.
Yeah, they have like a pathological need to not feel insignificant. Like that's the worst thing they can do. That you, as the previous you or I, a previous victim, can do is to think that we can move on with our life because that renders them insignificant, and they constantly need, as you said, that validation, don't they?
Right. Yeah, they sure do. Yeah. And it doesn't matter that, like you said, I'm not even in your life anymore, but I want you thinking about me. I want you trying to get back to me. I want you available all the time. I want,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, we call it, David, don't we? We call it that the love bombing, devalue, discard phase, but it really shouldn't be called the discard because they really never discard. It should be called disengage because
Or just
if you're,
abandon,
yeah, if you're dwindling in
abandon.
fuel, they're going to disengage, or or move away from you, abandon you. I don't know, they store you like a piece of meat or something, in a cave that a reptile stores in a cave, simply so they can come and have a gnaw, on you later on. It's got nothing to do, and this is why victims often fall for the hoovering. They think it's about love, and like you said, enough time goes by, and I guess that kind of feeds into that gaslighting process where, you know, oh, they're coming back to me 6 months down the track. They look like they've changed. They look like a new person. Maybe I was, overreacting. Maybe they weren't as bad a person as I thought. And,
Mhm.
typically,
Yeah.
victims do get hoovered back in for another round of abuse, don't they?
Yeah, and if you talk about if it's about attention, right, that they wanted from us, after they break us down for long enough period of time, we aren't very good attention for them anymore. We're broken. So they
Yes.
move on. But, look at the times they come back. We always say, wow, they have amazing timing. Yeah, it's when you start looking better, feeling better. You're back on social media.
It's
Hey,
not really
life's great.
amazing, is it? It's all
Yeah.
planned.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
but
when they want to be part of your life again. Sure,
yeah,
why not? Yeah.
because you're looking all shiny and new, and of course, when you're doing all those things, you look like you're healing, which implies that you no longer need the narcissist and they're insignificant. Yeah, so
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
timing of the Hoover is perfect.
Right, right. I mean, the best way to get back at these people is what? Just ignore them. Move on. Be happy, be successful, have successful relationships with other people. I'm telling you, that kills them. That's the worst thing you can do is ignore them and
Yeah,
be doing well. If you're doing well, you're leaving them back in sick and doing bad. And they know that.
yeah. I think I think it's so important for them to know the strategies though, because that narcissists use to hook them in. This is what's so important to go no contact, so you don't give them that chance to hoover you, because they are so vulnerable, aren't they? In those initial stages, with texts like where they remember the good times with them, and or there might be some huge drama like, oh my goodness, my mother's sick and she really loved you and she would really love it if you came and visited. Create some drama that you need to be involved in, or that they just pull out all stops to get you interested again. And they know this is the thing, when they were mirroring you and listening to the victims in the beginning, they were listening out for all the chinks in their armor so that they could use all that stuff in the hoovering
Sure.
process.
Yeah, they want to know what makes you vulnerable. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And they they want to know also that that the victims are pining for them. That they want to
Right.
know, like you said, that they're being validated. They're still in a position of power, and that this person isn't going to get on with their life, and that they do have the power to suck them back in, even if it's just so they can, discard them again, and think, yeah, I can definitely draw on that old victim out of my little black book whenever I need her or him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we talked before about how we think they're bigger than they actually are and smarter
yeah,
than they are.
we
And
monstrosize them, don't we?
big time. Yeah, these are just emotional children that can't handle relationships. There's 10 personality disorders. The basic reason why we want to figure this out is because that means that there's problems in their life. They can't manage day-to-day things in their life. One being very important, they can't have functional relationships with people. They just can't. They can't. So it'll never work out. You know what I mean? It's always going to be weird and bad and abusive, or they're going to be distant or leave and come back and they're going to talk bad about you, and they just can't
Yeah,
handle the they can't handle the emotions involved in a relationship. They can't handle the responsibilities in the relationship. You guys don't get closure because they can't. They can't sit there and tell you, this is why I'm leaving, and this is how I feel, and you make me feel this way, and these are the things that are missing out of this relationship that I need. And just none of that's gonna happen. You guys know you've never had a conversation like that with them
no,
in years.
no. All you have with narcissists, as you know, is just word salad, where it goes
Yeah,
round and round in circles, like you're in a washing machine, where they start talking about something that you did 10 years ago, and you wonder how the discussion even started, but somehow now you're the villain. Yeah. So
that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and often it's if the victim, if they were the ones to leave the narcissist, especially the Hoover, it's never about love, is it? And I think this is the trap
No.
that victims fall into. They think, oh wow, he or she's changed, and that they think they're missing, they're missing me, and they think it's about love, but it's just
Yeah.
it's so
There's
not,
one.
guys.
Right. Yeah. A lot of us miss, we misidentify love with attachment. And we can still be attached to somebody we think we tell ourselves we hate, but we're still thinking about them and we're still looking at what they're doing and we're still worried and we're still having nightmares about them and stuff like this. And we're still attached to them. Doesn't mean we
Yeah,
love them, doesn't mean they love us, but they get attached just like every human being. Um, and they seek attachment. That's a major problem with personality disorders. Is if it's one thing if somebody stays at home and deals with their disorder, but we all human beings seek attachment. So
yeah,
they're trying to get involved in relationships, and that's why I tell people watch out at dating sites because what you're going to have is everybody everybody that can't have relationships, functional relationships, can't relate with people well, um, they have here is something that they can go to and use to date. And if they want to date, I guarantee you they're on dating sites because they can't meet people in person and start right there. It's much easier
yeah.
to start
Oh,
texting and
it's
a message and have a profile and stuff like that.
yeah, it is just a breeding ground, isn't it? You just
Absolutely.
have to
And any
know.
of you guys think it's hard to date outside of a dating service? Good luck inside the dating service. Good luck.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's where social media. It's the perfect platform because they can be someone. I mean, not that they don't do it in real life, but they can be someone who they're not. They can
Right.
be whatever you want them to be. And this is how they
Absolutely.
suck Hoover their victims back in. Yeah, and
Right.
it's no mistake that that this term, which is coined obviously from the Hoover vacuum cleaner, with regard to sucking dirt up, because that's exactly how they treat
Trying
their
to suck
victims,
you
like
back in.
dirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sucking you back in. Yeah.
yeah. And I think we should probably talk a little bit, David, before we start answering questions about maybe the different types of hoovers, because I think this is where people can kind of fall, and get tripped up, is especially when the hoover comes by proxy. And by that, guys, what I mean is it's not coming through, your narcissist. The narcissist is not hoovering you directly. By proxy, I mean, they might send someone your way. A friend of theirs might just drop in, or ask you something on social media, see how you're going. It's still hoovering, and these are all strategies that you're going to have to look out for, because you don't want to feed the beast. You don't want to feed their ego, and that's what breaking contact is all about. It's about breaking that connection and no longer being a source of narcissistic supply for them.
That's right. That's right. And don't forget, these people will not leave themselves vulnerable.
Yeah,
In doing this hoovering, they don't leave themselves vulnerable. What would that, if they want you back, wouldn't it be easier to just, for one of us to call you up and say, I want you back? No. Oh, no. No, if
yeah,
they can get you to say that, that's great. That's
yeah,
better. They can't handle that. That would leave, the fear of, we talk about fear of abandonment, but the fear of rejection is huge. They can't stand it. I mean, nobody likes it, but we have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable in times of our life, but they
which
just will not.
narcissists will never do. No, because to be
You do it.
vulnerable is for them to recognize that they're not, this perfect, grandiose human being, and it's a reflection of their true self, and they will never
Yeah.
ever acknowledge their true self. They will do anything, and like you said last live stream, David, this is not a game for them. This is such an important thing to remember. This is not a game for them. Their lives, that the life of the narcissist revolves around protecting that false self. So all of these manipulations and strategies they use are about so they never ever have to address that true self. It's about keeping
Yeah,
that false self alive. Yeah. So to be
absolutely.
vulnerable is to, have to turn inwards and be that, that wounded child, and, and look at whatever happened to them, all those years ago.
Absolutely. They can't face who they are at all. They'd rather make one up and tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we better start answering some questions. Guys, as you join, I always say this, but please like and share, especially while we're live streaming. We're raising awareness around narcissistic abuse, and you can be part of that to help people that don't have the information that you do, know nothing about being gaslighted, which they could very well be going through at the moment. So please like and share and say hi so we can say hi back. So who have we got here? We've got Venus. Hi, Venus. How you
Hi,
going?
Venus.
Venus is always here. Okay, we've got Andrea Weingartner. Hi, Andrea. How you going? And we've got Tracy Harper. Hi, Tracy. Ali Schultz is here. Hi, Ali. Vicky Turner's here. Colin Carter's here. Who else have we got? Okay, Vicky. Thanks for joining us tonight, Vicky. Vicky says, I wish I never got married so quick. I'm not exactly healthy, I guess, and I could swear I married a narcissist. However, I'm not able to diagnose anyone, but it really knocked me around, and I just can't see the end of the really long questions there. Sorry, Vicky. Look, don't you don't know what you don't know. You don't know these things, and this is the whole thing about gaslighting, isn't it, David? The frog in the boil that jumps in the water that's not boiling. If a frog jumps into a pot of water and it's nice and warm, they'll stay there. But a frog who jumps into a pot of boiling water is going to jump straight out. So you don't know, Vicky, until you're actually told about narcissistic abuse, because it is so insidious. So I'm just glad that you're here tonight, and hopefully you're getting lots of support, and working out some strategies to deal with it, and to heal, and to know that this was never ever your fault. It is always 100% the abuser's fault. Yeah. Who else have we got here? We've got David Bridges here, passive narcissist. Yeah, there's a lot of I would probably call them, passive. They all like to act in very passive aggressive ways, David Bridger, especially, the covert ones. Yeah, I like to fly
Yeah.
under the radar.
Yeah, covert. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we've got Maria Kojo. Hi, David. Is it possible to be both covert and overt? The narc, about both covert and overt narc, and switch between them. I feel like he's both. And thank you for your videos. They really saved me from going insane. Maria from Sweden. One of your fans
Thank you,
there, David.
Maria. Yeah, thank you, Maria. Covert and overt is we're talking about behavior, and you guys, we always try and figure out which one are they. And really, we see both. And don't forget that they show you one thing and show other people other things. So real common that at home, behind closed doors, are really nasty to you. And then they go outside and are sweet to everybody else. Even though they're the same person. And you might see little things they do behind people's back covertly and then overtly abuse you. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
common. These aren't medical terms that are associated with this, but
Yeah. And
it's
it's the nature of putting on a mask, isn't it, David? Like they're essentially acting, so if they need to be overt and over the top, to
yeah.
manipulate whichever target they're trying to manipulate, then they're going to, act in an overt manner. But yeah, if they need to be passive aggressive and that's the kind of target they're trying to manipulate, then they'll act in a covert manner. So yeah, it's all part. They're acting.
Right. And I think a lot of it is how aware are these people of their bad behavior? A lot of these people just aren't aware of their bad behavior, so they don't mind overtly displaying it, not knowing how antisocial it is to everyone else. They may be bad at reading people and realize that they're just absolutely disgusted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else have we got? Kelly Dorrington. Kelly got the, hi Kelly, thanks for joining us. Kelly got the I miss you text, then nothing. Okay, so classic hoovering there, David, just out of the blue, I'm assuming Kelly, I miss you. What are they trying to do there with the I miss you
Well,
text?
yeah, they like I said before, they don't want to allow themselves to be vulnerable. And they're going to address, talk, face anything they've done. So, I mean, how about you take it a step further? And you guys they'll send you a text and act like during no contact or whatever. They'll send you a text that doesn't make sense, and then you reply and say, "Oh, that was meant for someone else," or
That's
the
happened.
classic call, hang up. Oh, wrong number. I didn't mean to call you. Sorry. Or the very, very classic one that I see, and it just seems to mess with people's heads is, okay, David, after 4 months no contact, they're dating somebody else, and I noticed they unblocked me from everything.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, why did they do this? I don't know what to do. And then they blocked me again. And then they unblocked me again a week later. And then they blocked me again. And it's just like, well, yeah, because they can't just say, I miss you, like that person did. Or what they should say is, would you like to talk again? I would like to talk to you. I mean, act like a normal human being. They aren't going to do it.
Yeah, and
Can't, can't.
they're relying on the victims, the place that they're in, through the trauma bonding, they're in a position where they're so vulnerable, and often they're craving, they're craving their drug, and they're missing, what they thought were those real good times. So, that's what the narcissist relies on, is the fact that because of the conditioning they use to get you sucked into that relationship in the beginning, that you will be stalking them. And like, how do you know whether how does the victim know whether they've been unblocked? They're only going to know that if they're searching, aren't they, to find
Yeah.
whether they can see what's going on in their timeline. So the narcissist knows this. So they know you will be searching. They know that you're in a vulnerable position. They know you're craving your drug. And they know that you'll be looking at their social media. So it plays with the victims' heads, just like you said. It's that crazy making. When they're not even in the same room with you, it's making you feel crazy.
Absolutely. And they, a lot of them might feel the same way. A lot of them, you don't forget, after failed relationships, I know that they go post on social media that they're happy with the new person 2 days later, which is impossible, but they're convincing. They're acting, and we buy it, we believe it. But don't forget that it's not true. It's just not true. They will not allow themselves to be vulnerable. So they're going to act like, I'm doing great. How are you? You know,
Yeah,
they're not going to say, I love you, I need you, it's not going to do that. I'd
yeah,
rather put a feeler out there and unblock you and see if you contact me. And then they
yeah.
realize once they get that contact from you, oh, that's all I wanted, that's all I needed. See you later.
Yeah, it's just to get inside their heads again. Um, I, you know, I spoke to a client last week, and she said that the narcissist was her ex-narcissist was actually coming to her for advice about the new target that had replaced her. And this is, I know it's so common, I've heard it so many times, but it just kind of sprung to my mind then. Her narcissist was coming to her and saying, look, she's driving me crazy. I wished I'd never left you, and she's really not that special. What do you think I should do? And she fell into the trap, and it was just another ploy to hoover her back into the relationship. Putting her on that pedestal again. But when you think about the crazy logic in this, that the new target, he's triangulating the two victims, and getting her sucked back into that vortex of abuse again. It's just, they will not stop. That they will stoop to any low to come back and stake their claim on a previous victim. It's just
Yeah, I
incredible.
mean, Yeah, and they can't do anything mature, so they won't end this relationship. They'll start another relationship. That felt good. Oh, now it feels bad. Now I want to feel good again, so I'm gonna go back to you, try and make you let you make me feel good again. They're
Yeah,
just
it's all about
children.
what you can do for me, because of obviously the
Immediate
world revolves.
gratification. Yeah, immediate gratification, impulsivity. They feel horrible. They're horrible feeling people. So anything that makes me feel good right now.
Yeah, and
Then they
yeah, and look, the other the it's not always about this is I think this is really important to remember too, guys. It's not always about sucking them back, hoovering them back into that intimate part of the relationship. It can be, just like especially parents who have kids together. It can be about hoovering them back just into that vortex of abuse, into the crazy making drama if you react to their abuse. Or it can be about punishing, especially if you've left them. It can be, yeah, I'm going to pull out all stops because how dare they leave me? And this time the discard's going to be a million times more horrific than the last, because I'm going to punish you for thinking that you can go on and heal and have a wonderful life without me, the narcissist. So, it can be
sure.
about that punishment as well.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, look at addictions, look at drug addiction and alcoholism. You know, they want company in their misery. They want a partner to do drugs with and alcohol. Anybody that has had addiction problems, they know that a part of leaving the lifestyle is also leaving the group of people you used in, and that can be really hard. These people don't want you to go away. They don't want you to get better. They don't want you to leave them behind. Stay here, and they'll get you to try and use drugs and alcohol again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And
you
then
stay
turn
sick with
around
me.
and when it suits them and call, call you a drug addict, or, an alcoholic, because, of you, maybe you were self-medicating, to get through the psychological abuse. It's just, yeah, it's unbelievable. And the thing is, the thing is to remember, they really have, it's never about love. It's about, narcissists actually have contempt for you. They have contempt for you as the victim, because they need you. They actually need you more than you need them. And I know you think you crave them, especially in the beginning, and that you need them a lot, but they need you to feed that false self a lot more than you need them. So they have nothing but contempt for you, because you're everything that they're not, and that they do have to rely on you to boost their self-esteem, whether that's through, or their ego, whether that's through, negative or positive attention. So it's never about love, wanting you back in that vortex of, in that relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what I think it really is about is I believe narcissism in children is caused from no boundaries. I think that's a major cause of narcissism is parents that don't apply boundaries to the child. So, I mean, this is common because this is about boundaries. Relationships over, don't contact me. Don't do this on social media. Send me messages of just BS stuff that doesn't mean anything and isn't really getting to the point. You just are trying to mess with my head, you know. So they
Yeah.
weren't taught boundaries, you know, so they don't respect your boundaries. They're going to come in and out of your life whenever they please. And if they've abused you, they've objectified you, and they
That's
take ownership of you, things like this. I
and
really
that and
think
they've
that's what.
managed. Sorry, David.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, you're talking about boundaries. They've the victims. They've managed the victims' boundaries down over, so subtly and slowly over a period of time, that that the victim no longer has the boundaries that they once had. So, they've been just managed down so far that, with the narcissist manipulations, they can pretty much get away with anything, like, and you'll know that by people that will, look from the outside in and go, how do you put up with that? How do you stay? And, often the victim will defend the narcissist, because their boundaries have just been managed so far down that the behavior just doesn't seem that bad, and it actually seems appropriate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Acceptable.
Acceptable. Yeah, for sure. Okay, who else have we got here? Paula Battolini's here. Hi, Paula. Thanks for joining us. Angelique Grace Moylan's here. Hi, Angelique. Okay, Rebecca Chittum's here from New Zealand. Hi, Rebecca. Thanks for joining us. Who else have we got? Okay, guys, just keep putting your questions down. I promise you, if we don't get around to answering them tonight, either David or I will answer them. So I'm just scrolling through them now to see whatever questions. We've got Jackie Peterson here. Hi, Jackie. Tracy Harper's here. Hi, Tracy. Angelique says, emotionally arrested 3-year-olds in adult meat suits. Yeah, that's a great analogy, Angelique. I can see them coming a mile away. Trust your intuition. Your gut will scream, bloody hell, run. Yeah, how true is that? And I think that's the thing. You get taught, don't you, David, to not trust your gut instinct anymore. And often, it would have been screaming at you, but through the gaslighting, you've been taught that your reality is not right. So you've been conditioned to not to trust your gut instinct. So you have to relearn that.
Yeah. Yeah, real common. We doubt a lot. We doubt what, and we learn even what they are, and then we doubt, are they?
Yeah,
Whose fault is
yeah, and
this? My fault.
yeah, and that's why it's so easy to, because your reality has been manipulated. It is so easy to get sucked back in, and that's why forums like this are so important to let you know what strategies to expect if you're in that if you haven't been hoovered yet. Know why they're contacting you so you can put your boundaries in place. Yeah, and the arrested 3-year-olds. Yeah, that's just it, Angelique. Roundabout this happened to them when they created this false self, round about the age of, I don't know, David, 3, 4, 5. That's when,
Sure.
yeah, then they became this new personality. That's who they are. So they are emotionally stunted at that age. They will not mature any further emotionally. This has got nothing to do with intellect, and this is why you have these circular arguments. It's like you're talking to a toddler. You are talking
Absolutely.
to someone who is emotionally arrested at the age of 3, 4, or 5. It's exactly the same. Yeah, a petulant
Yeah,
child.
yeah. Right, right. A child doesn't have problem solving skills and tools,
And
they don't.
with a child, everything's about them, isn't it? It's like, it's me, 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 me. I want what I want. What's yours is mine. What's mine is mine. And that's the way a child thinks. That's the way a narcissist thinks. Yeah.
And that's why we recognize and identify that victim mentality they have. They have to be that victim. They're a child. And that means, children were never in control.
Yeah.
So I don't care if they seem to be in control just because they're trying to control you, but they feel out of control and they most likely feel like you're the one in control, you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely how they feel. It's a narcissist actually thinks that everyone else, this is part of the disorder, they actually think that everyone else thinks the same way they do, and we know, how disgusting they are and how self-absorbed they are, and how just everything's about them. So they just assume that you're like that too. So of
Yeah.
course they've got to get you before you can get them. It's all about one-upping you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Last
Yeah.
word. I'll convince
Yeah.
everyone you're the bad one.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, David, we've got Viv McLaughlin here. Hi, Viv. You were trying to get in for ages, Viv. I'm so glad that you got in. Hi, guys. If a parent is a narc and you've cut contact, how do you then navigate mutual family relationships? David, do you want to take that one?
I want to make sure I heard it right.
Yep.
After
If
you
a
go no
parent,
contact with your family, and then what?
yeah, if a parent is a narc, so if a parent is a narcissist and you've cut contact with them, how do you navigate, mutual family relationships? So obviously, they're going to see the narcissist on, Christmas, birthdays, things like that.
Sure. And that's a good question because, and hey, there's narcissists everywhere, right? I mean, they're in the world. We have to deal with them, especially workplace and in our family. We don't always want to say goodbye to our whole family. That's not good. And we have to deal with them. So, regardless of who is a narcissist in your family, it's very important to understand some things. And that's, that relationship with that person individually. Are you going to continue that relationship or not? So I think you're talking about you are no contact with this family member, and how do I navigate and have contact with other family members and not that person? And I think,
Yeah.
well, it has to be clear to everyone else in the family. I'm choosing not to have contact with dad or mom anymore. And I think it's important. There's several things to think about, and I think that you want these other people in your family to respect that, but you also have to respect them. So if they want to have people over and you want to attend, if they've invited the person you're no contact with, if you're the one that doesn't want to talk to them, you may not go. You may not be allowed to go. This will limit certain things, and that's something you have to accept or find a way to deal with that person.
Yeah.
And I always say it's good that you've taken time away from them because we need to learn. If you want to deal with them again, we need to learn how to. The way we were doing it is wrong. So learning boundaries, number one, right? So we learn these boundaries, we become healthier. It usually is a lot easier to deal with them again. And if you've processed some of the trauma, some of the abuse, some of your pain, you've healed these things, it becomes easier to deal with them. So I think after you take some time away from him or her and you work on yourself and heal yourself, I think you'll find it easier to deal with them again in the future if they're in the same house or in a party again. You may be able to talk to them again on your terms while you're in control. Yeah.
That's it, on your terms, and not offering them any emotions, no reactions. If you want to, go grey rock, it's okay. And I think this is a problem, especially when it's family. They think that victims, Viv, they think when they're being assertive, that they're being, an a-hole or, just an awful person. And people, when they come out of these relationships, they have been manipulated. They've got quite low self-esteem. And you think for you to be assertive and say, hey, I'd love to come to your event, but I just know that I probably won't be talking to such and such, if that's what you want to say. That's okay. That it's okay to be assertive and put that boundary in place. That doesn't make you an awful person. You can't control what anyone thinks about your assertiveness, but that's something you're going to have to practice. But yeah, totally agree, David. If they're going to be there, you're going to have to work out your boundaries and work out what you're going to do at those events. But it's okay to go no contact. You don't have to have a relationship with someone just because they're related to you. If they're abusive, they're abusive.
Absolutely right. And if it can't be worked out or you don't want to work it out, then that's the way it is.
Yeah. Just don't, I guess.
One thing we can't do is if somebody has abused us, somebody hurt us, and that needs to be addressed with that person if you want to continue that relationship. So you go no contact with them. If you choose to contact them again, you have to realize that the hurt they cause you needs to be addressed. I don't care if you healed from it on your own, that needs to be addressed. They can't think that it was okay,
And I guess that's where, they'll prove to you that they're narcissism, because you will never get closure. You'll never get an apology. You'll never work through whatever trauma happened with a narcissist. So if they're not willing to do that, then your question is answered for you, isn't it? Around whether you should have any contact with that toxic person. Yeah. I hope that answered your question, Viv. We've got Rebecca Hannah here. Hi, Rebecca. I'm currently being bullied at work and it's threatening my future with the company. Oh my goodness. Okay. I might tackle that one. Rebecca, unfortunately, when you're in a work situation. The unfortunate part is you are going to have narcissists there. Narcissists, like David said, are everywhere, and they like to be in positions of power. So it's no coincidence that people that are at the head at the top of big companies and that are sometimes narcissists because they like that power. Uh, if you're being bullied at work, oh my goodness, look into every avenue because bullying is a big thing now. Can you document every little tiny thing that's happening? Are you being scapegoated? Are you being given work that's beneath you? Is work that should be going to you being given to someone who's a newbie? All of these things, just you've got to document that. The thing is, you can't just walk away, can she, David, from a job, because obviously you need your pay packet, you need to pay the bills, you might have children. But if you can possibly, with this person, go grey rock, which means don't respond to them. If they prod you and poke you for a reaction, don't give it to them. Because that's all a narcissist wants. They feed off your emotional responses. And yeah, it's so hard in the workplace because you have to turn up, every day, and often you spend more time with them than you do with your own family, and you do need your pay packet. So I would be documenting every single bit of the bullying because that it's unacceptable. It's illegal. It's downright illegal. They can't do it. And make a really clear case for yourself, and do not give them any fuel, no energy to boost that narcissistic false self that they have. Did you want to add anything to that, David?
Yeah, I mean, bullying, it's harassment, and when it comes
Yeah.
in the workplace, it's against your livelihood. So, almost every country has laws to protect you against this. And I would advise, if it's gotten bad enough, get a lawyer to
Yeah.
find out your rights, and maybe this person has done things to you that have caused damages. I don't know,
Well,
but like Dova said, document. And when you document things, always don't just write down what that person did. Write down how that made you feel. A lot of
yes.
this is about stress and distress, things like this. So document
Yeah.
what the person did. Document how you felt about it. Um, Explore avenues. See a lawyer. Find your rights. Don't
Uh,
lay down. And you're not going
yeah.
to fight with that person directly.
Yeah. Don't let their position of power get to you, Rebecca. I know that's really hard when you're in a subordinate position, but like David said, they can't harass you at work. It's illegal. I guess my not being a lawyer, I clearly can't give any legal advice, but something I would suggest would be to go and see a psychologist, go and see someone who can diagnose potentially your depression, your complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because all of this creates a paper trail. And if you are genuinely emotionally affected, which I assume you are, because that's the effect that bullying has, then you need to document it. And the best way to document that is to get a professional who can, make that diagnosis. So I would be, doing all of those things. And get some legal advice, definitely. Protect yourself because they're not going to. You need to pull out all stops to protect yourself.
Right, and try not to feel trapped. You can leave. I know you don't want to and things, but you've got to tell yourself, I can leave if I want to. So you're not trapped, right?
Yeah.
But we don't want to just give up things like this very easily. And you go from one job where there's a narcissist to another job where there's two narcissists. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to deal with these people. We have to learn how. And at the
Yeah.
workplace is a good place to learn how to deal with them, because it's mostly non-emotional. We keep these things
Yeah.
separate in our minds. We keep a class that works on our day-to-day work lives, and then another part that works on emotional. So let's not bring them together. Let's not have emotions at work. And I always say, if you go to work to make money, not friends. And
Yeah.
that usually helps by not taking a lot of the other crap too seriously and internalize it too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I hope that's helped, Rebecca. That's some great advice there from David. Okay. Um, Jackie says, hi, Jackie. Hi, I caught my ex-narc out big time. Pretty sure he won't hoover. He has me blocked on everything. Um, I'm assuming you caught him out on some kind of disgusting behavior, like cheating or something. But I wouldn't never discount the Hoover. Hey, David, they can come back, as we know, 10, 20 years down the track, Jackie. Never discount the Hoover. 99% of them do. It will be at a time that you don't expect it. So, yeah, be prepared. Don't let
You
your guard
have
down.
to, guys. You have to, guys, because look, when you think about the Hoover, what does that do to you? Right? It brings up all kinds of anxiety. It's all related to fears. Okay. So we can't just hope it won't happen or say, I know it won't, because you don't know. So we just say, hey, it's going to happen. They're going to knock on our door. They're going to send us an email. They're going to call us on the phone. They're going to contact us through Facebook, and they're going to have other friends contact us and all this stuff. And you just say, what am I going to do about it?
Exactly.
It just is going to relieve so much of this stuff because
Yeah.
you guys are going to build up phobias in your head like, oh my God, if they contact me, I'm going to die. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to be okay. What do you want from it, right? We want nothing, 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 nothing. We don't want them. We aren't going to find closure with them. We aren't going to sort it out and figure it out and work it out. And I'm not going to, there's nothing this person's going to do to make you truly feel better. Really,
Yeah.
not in the real
Look,
true sense of the word. So,
look at the worst case scenario, which is they will hoover you. They will
yeah,
rock up on your doorstep,
yeah.
and don't open the door. That it's about protecting, your emotions and protecting your sanity. You don't want to, with all this healing that you would have been doing, Jackie, you don't want to go 10 steps backward. So just assume the worst that he will
Yeah.
and prepare
Yeah,
yourself.
don't let them throw you off. Don't let them surprise you and shock you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they're gonna hoover you, okay? So don't be like, oh my God, they hoover me. Be like, here it
Yeah.
is. And what do I
Yeah.
want? I want nothing, so I'm gonna do nothing. See you later. Get out of here.
Yeah. Gosh. David Bridger says, hold on. David Bridger says, my my physics my I'm not sure what you mean there, David. My physics most favorite statement. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah, I'm assuming that you're talking about not knowing the strategies around, narcissists, around having to deal with the narcissist and heal. Yeah, you're right. You don't know, David. While you're going through it and you've been gaslighted, you don't know you've been gaslighted. That's why you come out of it,
Absolutely.
not knowing that you were in a fighting ring. You don't know that you were in a fight with Muhammad Ali.
Well, look at some of the things they say when they come back, guys. Um, if you don't know what's coming, it's gonna throw you off your feet because you might not talk to them for a year or two, and then they come back with, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Or "Oh my God, you won't believe what happened to me. I missed you. I've been looking for you for so," and you're just like,
Yeah,
"Whoa, whoa," it throws
yeah.
you off guard. Throws you off
And
guard.
that's right. And if you don't know these strategies, um, you're going to get sucked in. And this is why you need to prepare, guys, because yeah, like I love David's drama there. But that's what you do, you'll be like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But because you didn't expect it, so expect it. Expect that they will rock up on your doorstep. Expect that they will, have tears pouring down their face saying, I never should have, left you. You're the only one for me. And, whatever they promised you a year ago, let's go and do that. They don't stop at anything. And if that doesn't work with the Hoover, they're just as happy to flip, and they will flip and go, well, you're a horrible person, and you're not good enough for me anyway, and I'm doing this and this, and this person's much better in bed than you are, and all these awful things to try and make you feel bad, to try and hoover you back in. They'll try and flip and use that logic on you if one doesn't work.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah,
But you know, here again, we're a child that can't handle relationships. So what would you normally do? What should you do? Leave this person alone, move on, it's over, go on. And it's the same thing with you know, smear campaigns and stuff like this. They cannot break it off. They can't just end it. You know, people have been smear campaign. You guys know the relationship's over, even a friendship, and they're here. They are 6, 7, 8 months, a year later, still smear campaigning you. Oh, this person hurt me. Oh, this person's so bad. You know, well, geez, is this how you process this all year long? Like, my God, with everyone in society, everyone in the world,
Everyone's
go get help.
against you. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah. The
yeah.
poor little narcissist. Okay. Um, Rebecca Hannah, we've got Mike Arini. Hi, Mike. Rebecca Hannah says, my work boss covertly is nice to everyone and then overtly manipulates and abuses me in private to force her dominance. Well,
Right.
yeah, obviously her little scapegoat, Rebecca, and yeah, it's kind of like an intimate relationship. She's not going to abuse you overtly in front of other people because that's she needs to wear that mask so everyone thinks she's someone that she's not.
And I mean, it's real common with
Yeah, so
psychopaths. Almost always with abusive psychopaths, they will either or. They will be completely abusive at home and great productive members of society. Or
yeah,
they might really be decent at home, protect their family, provide for their family, go out and be an absolute menace to society. It seems to
yeah.
be either or. So that's actually really common.
Yeah. So yeah, for some reason she chose you, Rebecca. You're the scapegoat, and you fuel her ego. You maintain that false mask by, I'm assuming, reacting, and she gets a power boost out of hurting you and making you feel bad. That boosts her ego. The same as putting on that overt, I'm wonderful, everyone loves me, I'm a wonderful boss for everyone else. That gives her positive energy. So she's getting negative from you and she's getting all that positive fumes from everyone else.
And let me ask, where is this type of behavior acceptable? In society or at home? Are you accepting it or is everyone in their life accepting it outside? It's at home, right?
Yeah.
That's where it's accepted, that
Yeah.
kind of behavior. So don't accept it, please.
Yeah. That's right. Don't accept it. It's not appropriate and it's not on. Yeah.
And that shows you
Okay.
they know what's going on. They're in control. They're not abusing them. They're abusing you. They're selectively abusing people.
Yeah, absolutely, David. That answers anyone's question. And we usually get this, at least once a night when we do these live streams. Is
Yep.
do they know what they're doing? And okay, that scenario there that David was just talking about proves it. They know exactly what they're doing because someone who didn't know what they were doing would be doing it to everyone all the time. A narcissist can switch it on and off depending on who they're trying to manipulate. So they know
Right.
exactly what they're doing. Yeah.
Right. And if they
So
didn't think
just
it
that,
was
yeah,
wrong, yeah, if they didn't think it was wrong, they wouldn't lie about it. They wouldn't say it's your fault, and they wouldn't go project, turn around, say, "Oh, you did it to me. Oh, this person's bad. They're abusing me." And all they're doing is saying what they did to you. They know it's bad. They know it's wrong. They can't control it.
yeah, that's right. Okay. Um, Tony and Ronane. Hi, Tony Ann. You guys are truly a shot of much needed strength and stamina and grounding. Really enjoy listening and learning. Oh, thank you, Tony Ann. Yeah, really, really kind words for David and I. We appreciate it. Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Um, okay, Ali Schultz responding to Tony Ann said, yes, it's great. Thank you, Ali. I'm glad to have you back again. Jody Campbell's here. Hi, Jody. Sorry, I just came in late, so forgive me. That's okay. If this has been asked, how do you co-parent with a gaslighter narcissist? My daughter lives with him and she's only 4. He is now withholding her. Okay. Do you want me to do this one, David, or do you want to do this one?
Well, I'll just say you can't. You can't co-parent. You can't co-parent children with another child. So we're
Yeah,
parallel parenting
yes,
alongside, and we're monitoring
exactly.
them as well as the children. Yeah, go ahead.
That's so, yeah, so important to remember, Jody, is that, and you are going to get told this. Unfortunately, you can't go in making diagnosis yourself. You're going to get told, by everyone and sundry, oh, you must co-parent with this person, for the child's sake and all that kind of stuff. If you are dealing with a full-blown narcissist, it is impossible to co-parent. You cannot co-parent because they're not coming from the same frame of reference that you are. They're coming from a place where they want to manipulate you to get narcissistic supply. So
Yeah,
a narcissist, their children are just objects too. So it's about going grey rock and not reacting to their provoking. They're going to provoke you. They're going to use the kids. Um, you know, as we've said in previous live streams, this is one of the things that just absolutely sucks. There's a really professional term for you. It's horrible. But these are one of the things that you have to deal with when you've been in a relationship with a narcissist is learning how to maneuver that when they're the other parent, whether that's a father or a mother. Go grey rock. Do not react. Give them no emotional response whatsoever. Just respond. One word, yes, no. The kids will be here. They won't be here. Limit all your contact. You don't need to have phone contact with your narcissistic ex. That's only going to feed into your anxiety. Every time you see their name come up on your phone, you're never going to be able to move forward. You're never going to be able to heal. Especially if you're suffering, post-traumatic stress disorder, which most victims are. Email, limit it to email and only check it once a day, or at that at the most. But the contact must be absolute minimal. And if they're gaslighting you, know when they're gaslighting you. Like you would be starting to build up, an arsenal of knowledge now around the way that your ex is manipulating you. So don't buy into it. Don't feed into it. If you know they're gaslighting you, let them, but don't react to it, and do what the bare minimum you need to get the kids where they need to go. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
It's
And
it's a
realize
hard
that,
one.
yeah, yeah, co-parenting takes both of you to have the children's interests in mind, the children's best interests in mind, working together for that. If someone's disordered and abusive, they're carrying their own interests is what matters to them. So you
Yeah,
can't work together with them. You just can't do that.
you
It
can't.
won't work.
David mentioned parallel parenting. So parallel parenting, as you can imagine, parallel is about doing what you need to do when they're in your house and letting them, you have no control what they do in their house. Short of child abuse, you can't control who they see. If they want to take them to a grandma that you don't like or a friend they don't like, you can't control that. So whatever goes on their week is what goes on in their week. It's really unfortunate that when you are parallel parenting, it's really hard to get them involved in sporting teams and things like that. I know this because these are activities that go, they're just not on once every 2 weeks. But they're the sorts of things you're going to have to work out strategies around. And that's, I guess, what's so important to have really, really strong boundaries in a court orders around contact and things like that. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you need to have I's dotted, T's crossed, so there is no room for manipulation. So yeah, it's not easy, but you have to work out your strategies around what you're going to do and expect the worst case scenario and work out what you will do if that happens. And then yeah, it tends to relieve your anxiety a bit if you think, well, if that happens, this is what I'll do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so much emotion involved in this. It's hard, but a lawyer will tell you what to do, how to act. A lot of courts don't really concern themselves with emotion. So thinking logically, if you're in a no fault state, we here in America, we have no fault states. And if you're going to sit there and talk trash about your spouse in a no fault state, you're going to get in a lot of trouble because it's no fault. They don't care. They don't want to hear it. It's not pertinent. And here you are doing this. You're going to get yourself in trouble. And one thing I want to also add, when you're parallel parenting with an abuser, realize that you can't what you want, you'll never get. You're not going to get from them. You're not going to have an open line of communication. And you're
No.
also going to have to understand that some of the things are just the way they are. Like Nova was saying, that the law is the law. The law is protecting your spouse and the children, what they believe. So you can't step in all the time. Things just are going to happen. But also realize that children are okay if their father or mother's abusing them, as long as you are there for them and love them and give them the things they need, they'll usually be okay. All right. So I
And
know
this
we have.
Yeah, this is kind of the worst case scenario, is that just realize, guys, you, like David just said, you are never ever going to have a meaningful relationship with this parent where you can sit down, go to parent teacher interviews together, work out with, real sincerity what you would want to see happen with the kids' lives. You just, I guess, get it out of your head now, because it's not possible. It's so, stop thinking about it now and work out your strategies for managing your future for your child without that meaningful relationship with the other parent, because it's not possible with someone who has a cluster B personality disorder.
And also really important, please don't trash talk their
No,
parent, your spouse, your ex. Don't do that. I'm telling you, those children will not accept it and they'll push you away. Okay, we
and
don't
don't
want to hear
ask
that.
what goes on. Don't ask what goes on over there either, because you're only going to get what the narcissist puts in their head, because you
Yep.
know how manipulative the narcissist is. So the narcissist knows the child's going to be coming back to see you next week. So they'll put little, scenarios in the child's head so they will come and talk to you. And that's kind of like, hoovering by proxy. It's getting the
Yep.
children to get you wound up so that you will somehow break contact and react.
And I know we've talked about this a lot so far, so much time, but I gotta say, please, parents, don't try to overcompensate for another parent that you think isn't giving the child what they need and abusing them. You don't need to overcompensate. You love your child, but you've got to teach that child boundaries and limits. You've got to have structure and punishment that
Yeah,
if it's
so
required,
important.
okay? So just
Yeah,
because you think they may be mistreated over there doesn't mean that they aren't responsible for their behavior here.
yeah,
You have to do that. And I know a lot of people are afraid of it, putting on boundaries on a child that doesn't have any over there. And we
yeah,
can't do that. Don't overcompensate, guys. Figure out, if you're a mother and we're talking about a father, just find out what the other parent's role is in the child's life, and you can do that. So one of the father's role is to direct the child and be involved. So be involved in your child's life a lot and direct them and things like this.
yeah,
But we don't overcompensate and just keep telling them that we love them no matter what they do because we feel bad for them and stuff like this. I hope
yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. Aletha, hi Letha. Letha says she finally left the house. I answered a no number phone call, so a private number, I'm assuming. She was on the other end. Says to me, "You can clean my mess." I say, "Thank you." She hung up. I had been busy fixing and cleaning trashed house. I can't see the end there. Sorry, I'm Aletha. Oh my goodness. Look, if this person, yeah, look, if they trashed your house, that's certainly, yeah, really, really unfortunate. But I guess if once you get your house clean and can get her out of there, so she's no longer, this narcissist is no longer in your life, then I guess think of what you're working towards. Yeah, it might be, um, but also, get some legal advice too. I mean, someone can't just come and trash your house and do and break your property and vandalize things and that. So you go and get some legal advice as well. But I guess, yeah. look at this as a step forward to getting her out of your life and to moving on without the narcissist. But yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. But yeah, she used to know. I guess the important thing to look at there too, David, is she used a no number phone call. Now this is what they're all going to do when they hoover, is to use a private number. My suggestion would be don't answer any private numbers. Like, of course, this is going to be a perfect strategy that they use. They're not going to use, if they know you're going no contact, they're not going to use their own number or one that you would recognize. So, yeah, I would be letting all private numbers go through to the goalkeeper, and and vetting them later.
Yeah, we all have a voicemail nowadays. Someone will leave you a message if
Yeah,
they're trying to get a hold of you.
absolutely. We've got Tyler watching. Hi, Tyler. Steve Payne's watching. Hi, Steve. Belinda and Salamanca. A lot of narcissists are politicians. Yeah, well, we're hearing a lot about that currently in the social media, well, not just social media, everywhere, aren't we, David? Yeah. Well, they love positions of power, Belinda. What a greater position to be able to influence other people and have people look up to them and wield that power stick than to be a politician. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The increase as you go into the work area, the careers, as you go climb the corporate ladder, you'll see more and more of them. Sure.
Yeah. Rachel's here. Hi, Rachel. Rachel says, 10 weeks, no contact. Good for you. Last 2 weeks, really, really brutal withdrawals, but doing my best to remain no contact. Oh, look, yeah, and this is so important for them to remember, isn't it, David? It's like any drug addiction. The chemicals change in your body. It might be 10 weeks. It might be 12 months when you all of a sudden get these pangs for your, that thing that you were addicted to, and you don't know where they came from. It might be just something that's triggered you. But just be aware that this is just a withdrawal symptom from your drug, and that these feelings will pass. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do something to tell your mind it's over. Let's kill some hope, guys. Right? Let's toss out some stuff of theirs, rip up some photos. Let's really block them. Let's
Have a
let's
ceremony.
get rid of our social media account that they keep hoovering on. Let's
Yeah.
cut the hope off in our minds. It helps.
Yeah.
Like an addiction, let's replace this behavior with something else.
That's
If you're
positive.
with them every day, don't just sit at home and do nothing now. Let's replace this behavior. Think of a child. You take away candy. You don't want them to eat candy. You're going to give them something else. You
Yummy.
just take away the
Yeah.
candy, they're going to sit there and cry. So let's direct our attention and our energy somewhere. Where do you want to go? Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And know why. I think it's really important to know why you're experiencing these withdrawals and that they're normal. It's normal to
Yeah.
have, these pangs out of nowhere. You don't know, you might have just smelt someone's cologne that walked past, something as subtle as that. And it might have been the same cologne that your ex-narc used to wear. And you mightn't realize that triggered you. So, possibly look at stuff that's triggering you and know that it is normal and it will pass. And just, yeah, distract yourself with good stuff that's going to make you feel good.
Yeah. Hoovers are triggered the same way by abusive people. They're triggered to hoover you. They think of something, they smell something, they see something that
Yeah,
reminds them of you, and then they hoover you.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, we might just answer a couple more questions, guys. Don't forget to put your questions down below. If we don't get around to answering them, we will get back to you. So if we don't get around to answering you tonight, promise you we will get back to you. Okay, got such a small screen here. Excuse me. Christian McAlpine, I feel so, I'm having a real trouble seeing the ends of these questions. I feel so broken at the moment from the manipulation, questioning myself a lot. Look, Christian, David, I'll let you talk to Christian. Yeah, it sounds like it's really, really fresh, and he's right in the thick of things about, questioning himself with the gaslighting, etc.
Yeah, that's Christian. It's normal. Let me tell you, please, that most of us got into this situation by no support, neglect from people. So right now, I don't know. I'm guessing that you probably don't have a big support group, friends, family, things like this, because it just leaves us in total doubt all the time. So please, Christian, please do what you can for support. Seek out any kind of help you can get. Okay, have people in your lives that are concentrating on you and there for you, telling you the truth. If you have a friend that you trust, tell them, ask them what's going on, and just listen to them and believe what they say. You know what I mean? That's my best advice. Seek
Yeah.
professional help. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're paying for it or whatever. Support, have support there. Paying for it is great because you're working hard for that. It's telling yourself I'm worth it, and then you have someone totally devoted all to you.
Yeah.
And we're not used to doing that. If you're in relationships that you've been abused and you're not sure what's going on and stuff, these are all products of childhood neglect. You've been neglected. People that have had enough attention their whole lives, they don't find themselves in positions like this. So
Yeah.
find support, Christian. You need
Yeah.
support. You need people, okay?
Absolutely, Christian. The nature of this is abuse. It's exactly the same as physical abuse. The same as if you had broken bones and bruises all over your body. Never ever minimize what they have done to you. So you need to get help. You need to get support. You need to know what you've gone through and be validated that it was real and you were traumatized by a manipulative abuser. So yeah, like David said, seek support, and don't isolate, because that's what we tend to do as victims. We isolate,
Yeah.
and we've been taught to isolate by the narcissist. So yeah, I hope that that's helped a little bit. But yeah, please seek out people that understand what you're going through.
Yeah, yeah, get help and then try to see the whole picture of your whole life, Christian. Try to see everything so that all of it makes sense to you. It helps,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. We've got Jess Maynard here. Jess says, love these live streams and all the great advice. Oh, I'm so happy, Jess, that you're enjoying them. Thank you. Jody says, thank you. Great advice. Also, how do you prove that he's gaslighting me when people can't believe the unbelievable behavior? you you that's the nature of gaslighting, and that's the nature of just how manipulative a narcissist is. Uh, you can have proof there, right in front of the narcissist, and they will swear black and blue that that's not real. It's not true. To someone else who's already been manipulated by the narcissist in a smear campaign, their reality's already been manipulated. So it's likely that they're going to believe the narcissist too. So you can't prove it. Just don't go in to defend yourself, Jody. Just go no contact, and don't put yourself in that position where you need to defend yourself. Don't jade. Don't with the narcissist. Don't justify. Don't argue. Don't defend, and don't explain. Okay, Jade. You try and do anything with those things with a narcissist, and prove yourself right, because you're right. You are going to end up in a word salad conversation where you are just ready to rip your hair out, and you end up apologizing for burning dinner 10 years ago. It's
Yeah.
just, you can't prove it. You have to step away and go no contact.
Yeah, because I'm telling you guys, you can't, it's too hard to convince someone that this person you're living with, in love with, married with, is this horrible person doing all these bad things to you. You want to prove it? Leave them.
Yeah.
Leave them and then say, I left because they did all these horrible things to you. But being next to them, standing next to them and love people aren't going to listen to it. They don't want to hear it. Leave them.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we might call it a night there. Thank you so much for joining us, David. Thank you, as always, for co-hosting the show with me. Fantastic to have you back. Everyone, please subscribe to David's YouTube channel, Crazy Narcissist Ex-Girlfriend. It's called CNXG. Some regular videos on narcissistic abuse recovery coming out all the time, with some fantastic advice. And please please subscribe to my channel. It's brand new. Just look for Brighter Outlook Counselling Service. And for those of you who haven't yet already, please like this page, Brighter Outlook Counselling Service, because I regularly, every day, I put information out on narcissistic abuse. And yeah, so I'm sure that out of all the information I put out there, there will be lots and lots of stuff that will help you. And then once again, please like and share. I'm going to keep saying that we want to raise awareness around narcissistic abuse. So please share as much as you possibly can to get it out there. Yeah. Anything? Did you want to say anything else, David?
Yeah, I want to say thank you, Nova, and I want to say thank you, everyone out there, for letting me come back on here again. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to do it again. And also to my subscribers, Nova has started her YouTube channel. Like she said, I'll put the link down below. Please go there and support her. She's just making videos again on YouTube. But the reason is we're going to start doing live videos someday soon on YouTube. So that's how you'll know where they are. So go subscribe to her channel.
And then it'll be like, guys, I don't know if you know, but David, every time we do these live streams, David has to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning because he's over in Las Vegas. So once we start doing the live streams on YouTube, it'll be my turn. I'm assuming I'll have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, which I'll have no problem doing because I love doing them. So yeah, so please subscribe to Brighter Outlook Counselling Service. And of course, David's fantastic YouTube channel, Crazy Narcissist Ex-Girlfriend, CNXG. Okay, David, on that note, thank you so much for joining me. I love doing these live streams with you. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. Well, I'll talk to you before then, but back to co-host the show in another 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you all. Okay. We'll see you again.
Thanks, David. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, David. I love having David here. Okay, everyone, just quickly, please, regularly get information on narcissistic abuse recovery. I put stuff out there every single day. I'm a counsellor on the north side of Brisbane. I counsel people every day. That's my job. I work with victims and survivors to help them move on from the trauma of narcissistic abuse. I Skype people outside of Australia. And I also, of course, if they can make it to Brisbane, here on the north side of Brisbane, I see people every day face to face. So if you would like to have a one-on-one counselling session with me, please just inbox me on Brighter Outlook's Facebook page, and I would love to be able to help you. On that note, guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining myself and David here again tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm here every single Tuesday night, Brisbane time, 7 p.m. So I will see you next Tuesday night. Please join in. Please tell everyone who you think will benefit from this. Please like and share so that we can help others who are going through what you've gone through. On that note, I would like to say goodbye. See you all next week. Remember your worth, as always, and then add tax. Bye-bye, everyone.